Oh my goodness.
Preparing to go live. Setting up. Still loading. Says that we are live. Let me close this and go here, and I will go ahead and begin the office.
How exciting.
Yes, this is our second episode together. You are the only person on Testimony in a Tub to come back for a second time so far. Woo!
I feel so honored.
Oh, dude, were you not also the very first one? You know, so it's kind of only appropriate, yes? Oh.
I'm sorry, to set up what?
I was saying, like, is it not only appropriate that you being the first person to do the first Testimony in a Tub, it's only appropriate that you are the first person that comes back for a second time?
Oh, well, I think that by default makes me one of your favorite people.
I just accidentally turned on the shower with my feet somehow. Oh, brother, it's all good. It's just water. It could have been bad though, right? Like my phone gets wet. So the water running is going to give a chance for everybody to come in and for us all to gather after this new episode of Testimony in a Tub. Brian Crescenzo has the idea that he's going to be interviewing me today. So it's going to be a little bit of a twist of the turn. So instead of me doing the interviewing, asking 1 million questions, getting to know you, aka Brian, today he has the tables turned on me, where he's going to be the DJ or the interviewer and the one in the office that is asking the questions. So just give us some time to get the water temperature just right. And then we will begin our conversation. Yes. Let us set a prayer and intention of this call.
Oh, I've got a whole script here that I need to start narrating, but you're doing it. You're like, you're already doing it. And I was going to ask you, but kind of like when you're ready, let me like take over, because I'll do the whole intro.
I'm not even halfway full. I'm still like not fully submerged. So
okay, let's just say like you sit back and let me. Since I didn't print out my script, I have to look on my phone. So my video may cut out, but I'm just a talking head. And it's not as appealing as you are.
It's not about looks, Brother Brian. It's about your sacred heart.
Oh, I mean, I know, but it's just, yes, I see that. I know that. And thank you. So awesome. Let me, I'm just going to jump over and can you see?
No, we can't see you when you go to the other place. It removes your picture.
Yeah.
It's okay if you need to go there for your notes for the sake of. Yes.
I'm all right with doing this without an actual video thing, but thank you for trusting me, Trina, to do this. And I want to say it sort of has snuck up on me, and I'm not really sure that I'm like completely prepared for this, like psychically or emotionally or mentally. But I mean, I have been putting time into preparing for this because like you're special to me in so many ways. You know this. I mean, but okay, I'm comfortable with sharing that with everybody. I don't know who's listening or who cares even, but something about our connection, that I hope to mine out of this discussion, as well as, let's get to know Trina Mason the way that Brian knows her.
Well, the whole intention of originally Testimony in a Tub was kind of to, share these different perspectives and to pretend like no one's watching, that it's just me and you. And it's like a private thing that's brought to a public space where someone can jump in. I used to tell you that all the time, that I was like, let's go live and just share, and whoever joins, they join. If not, who cares? At least we journaled or kept the memories in another way with this new technology,
Well, I think that works out good for like lawyers, maybe, or people
For me,
that just.
I would really love to have your face come back every once in a while. Would you be able to do that?
Oh yeah, I will be able to do that.
Okay.
I'm
I'm almost full. Just so you know, this is where we're at. This is the most that I can put in. So
I mean, that's not like I can start anytime, right?
Okay. I want to wait till I can completely hear you. So I normally go live with the other person once the tub is full. But I did like your idea of us taking time to fill the tub together, so everyone can take time to, come on and get the notification that we're live right now.
Yeah, what I actually envisioned was that you might be playing music, and if we were having a conversation, it would be like on another channel or whatever, and that it would just be this mellow scene, like with a message from you saying, countdown to the interview with Trina, the Trina interview or whatever.
I'll let the water be the countdown and the music.
Yeah, right. But we've been talking over it, which is okay. But if it was like a real show, like this could actually be somewhat of an audition for me.
We would need like copyrights so we could play other people's music.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna say that the tub is full.
Copyrights, yeah, right. Okay.
Well, you can play your own music. I could play Brian's music since you're a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there's no rules on that. But
I
am complete. I am done filling the bathtub, and I'm available to you to answer your questions. I have you as loud as I can push you.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm jumping in here. And welcome, people of the earth, to the Trina Mason show.
Team Trina Mason.
This episode, the Trina interview, hosted by Brian Crescenzo. That's me. I'm an old friend of Trina. Maybe 3 or 4 years we've known each other. It has been a most interesting journey with this young lady. I am over twice her age. I'm like crazy in love with her. She knows it. I never hide it, but she lives like in another universe. And I just have this deep connection with her, and we've maintained a thread of connection. Just been kind of supportive of each other going along, and I feel so grateful to be able to have this long list of questions and things to ask you about.
Please don't forget about Michael and how he has an involvement in our lives as well. Maybe you can explain. Maybe I can start off. Who is Michael? Who is Michael? We can't see your face right now. It's a black screen. It's just Trina. Who is Michael, Brian? Who is he in your life?
Michael is my grandson that I adopted.
How old is he?
He turned 18 in March.
Wow.
He's a Pisces. And he's a beautiful young man who has developmental delay and a different brain. He's neurologically different. But it's very powerful. It's beyond words. How can I explain what it has been to be with him? He's shifted me into more of like this dream time state of present moment awareness, just through sheer necessity to be able to live with him in a way where, you know, I'm relating to him. I have to be in that moment with him.
Yeah.
And so it's been a it's been a spiritual journey, all of that. But I gotta say, like, how when my energy, like, really, when I sort of embraced it and my energy started to shift, like before we met, I think that I was like conjuring up the energy to like create new friendships that were.
Said a prayer for my existence to come in at that moment.
I already told you that I manifested you. I already
Asking
told
you shall receive. Oh, Brian, I love the samadhi you're entering. Thank you for sharing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. I suppose I've been just going in and out of it, you know, quite a bit.
I
think, I mean, Michael is like so easily there, and, you know, just my own path has led me to, you know, do the kind of inner work where I can really feel things authentically now.
You mean without numbing them out or pushing the feelings away, or like what does that sentence mean to you?
Well, I'm supposed to be interviewing you, Trina, but
okay.
That's the kind of question that I think comes up for us, and why, like, whatever we have to share can maybe translate to other people. Woo! That a lot of people really want to know, like, especially if like people could know what was in my head, or how, like, all the emotional turmoil of loving someone that you can't be with is like so much, I don't know, grist for the mill, like, you know, just like breaking your heart right open in a way where you just grow so much more, you know. That's how it's been for me. And Michael helped me get to a place where I could even just contain that, you know. I'm learning to sit with the things that I normally would have been running from emotionally, and it's very empowering. And, you know, I think that's what you're doing too. And I think that's why we were important to meet and, you know, shift each other in certain ways. And, you know, astrologically, I saw it almost immediately, you know, but did that answer your question? Because I want to get back to my list.
I will let you. I just have to give, like, you know, I just can't help but see creator in all of this, and just like kind of be in the amazement, and also in the process of letting go of the attachment to this makes me feel good, I need more. And what you're saying, sitting with the uncomfortable emotions and taking time to process those instead of running away from them or doing activities that will quickly distract or take me away, and instead having compassion for myself and deeply listening to those uncomfortable feelings. So I'm ready. I'm going to take a dunk, and then I'm 100% ready for questions. So. I do love the water. It's one thing I very much so miss about Florida, is those ocean seas, man.
Yeah. I actually thought about that for you today, that I know you're not getting in the water as much. But that's sort of coming up in everything. Like at this rate, we're never going to get through it all, kind of thing.
Dude, it's like symbolism though of being a fish out of water, and like just that time period of life of just like you're measuring me, or I'm just being silly. I'm measuring myself to the standards of maybe a monkey when I'm really a fish, you know? Like, why don't I check all the boxes of being able to do A, B, and C? But I swim great, and I'm great at this and this and this and this. But doing this is not easy.
Yeah. Well, I actually plan on getting to these exact metaphors with my own kind of pointed questions about them, or directed sort of like
yes
exploratory.
Let go and let God.
Okay. Oh, of course. Well, could I ask you to do one thing, maybe like read the Lord's Prayer from Aramaic before we get started?
Dude, I can't do that right now because I don't have the text. I don't have the text. Well, because if I was live through the computer, I could use my phone as an interface.
Oh, right.
But if you're patient, we can do another live stream, maybe even shortly after this one, or just when the time is right, and we can read it out loud together. Would you like that?
Well, you're going to read it to me, right?
Okay, I will do that if that is your choice, okay?
I asked you to do that, and I'd like you to do multiple takes so that I can pick my favorite one. And I want you to practice up for it, and I can pay you to do that.
I will gladly be commissioned and paid to be a person who reads. Yo, Brian, you're triggering me because I thought about starting my own business for people who like have dyslexia or can't sit still or things like this. Like, I will buy the book, you will pay for the service, and I will read the book to you. And if you need me to rewind or go back, we will discuss that paragraph until you have learned the interface and say, okay, Trina, let's read more of the book. And then I will get paid to read books after buying the books and like helping people learn and gather information and having to get to learn too. I will get to learn by getting to know the material as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this a new business model for Trina?
It was totally a fantasy. I don't know, like, why no, like, let's all do this. That's what I'm saying. This is cool. That sounds great. Especially if we have friendships and someone likes to listen to our voice or is comfortable with us, right? Like Brian, you have a pretty cool voice. I know a few people who have a really cool voice. Like, imagine they're reading to you material that they know a lot about and they love. And then like, maybe you could make like a whole website dedicated to people just reading what they love. And like, who knows legalities and the copyrights?
Can I cut you off here for a second?
Always, please do.
I kind of need, what do they call it, a safe word?
Chill. Okay, not chill.
Chill. Should I just say
chill? Slow down.
Okay, I'm gonna read the Lord's Prayer translated from Aramaic.
Okay, but can you do it without adding the extra sentence that they added? They added, and so it is. I don't think that that's in the original text. So could we have you read it, but just don't say the last sentence? So it only says.
Isn't that like saying Amen?
But I'm saying, I don't know. I don't speak Aramaic, so I can't really be the translator here. I was just asking if potentially you would consider not reading the last sentence and leaving all of God's word instead of man saying amen or whatever, and incorporating, the totality.
So, what I have right here doesn't even have, and so it is at the end.
I did that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our being and carve out a space within us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again.
I hear Michael grinding his
Yeah.
teeth.
I think,
Brian,
like,
I was just going to say I couldn't help but hearing the prayer, remember how important it is to not do actions just to receive the fruit. Does that make sense? Like not seeking to get the fruit of our actions, like not doing something so that we will have a certain outcome, but only doing it out of an act of love for God or the whole or outside of self or just for a greater purpose, not seeking to get something out of it, but only, doing the mission with love and compelled by love, not by fear.
well, that, like, to be really, I think what you're saying is that there is a level of consciousness where you see yourself as a co-creator with.
Yes, but many times we're asleep and we don't realize like the contribution we have because we're mindlessly speaking, mindlessly doing or reacting and responding in a way that we wouldn't choose to. It's just automatic or systematic or genetic or ancestral or generational.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
Cultural.
patterns.
Yeah.
Pattern
Patterns.
behaviors that are triggered unconsciously that we keep repeating until they're brought to our awareness. And a lot of times these patterns emerge from the wounds that we have that we are like not letting ourselves feel. And this is getting back to being able to sit with those feelings that you would normally run from. Because then if we can sit with them and like re-experience them in a conscious way, like as an adult would be able to sit there, not as the child, as we experience them, then we'll be able to process them and integrate them in a way where they don't trigger us anymore. And we're not a victim of those patterns and behaviors anymore when we bring it to consciousness. And that's also the shadow work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
other people aren't victims to our own behavior.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And it's like, as much as we try to avoid like taking responsibility for the life that we're in, like this is not my fault, it is ultimately the most empowering thing, even if you have been screwing up your life out of ignorance, because once you realize that, it's like all you really need is consciousness. If you just become more self-aware and mindful, your life will change.
Sometimes I feel like I'm running tapes, like stories about myself that aren't true, that are belief systems, and they're so deeply ingrained that I can't escape them, and therefore I'm behaving, operating, moving, acting, and moving along with and reinforcing, because like when you do the behavior to the thought, it reinforces the belief, right? So it can be something like, I'm no good, or I'm insecure, or I can't, or just some story about my own limitation or my own ability or my own grace or my own capabilities, like my shortcomings, like feeling like I'm short when maybe in one place I might have strength even when I think I'm short. And then like getting so stuck in those habitual patterns of thoughts, and most of all feelings, because a lot of times the thoughts are coming to try to express into words the feelings that I'm experiencing to someone else, to ask for assistance, because for me, I'm attacking myself in my own mind. And then when I'm doing that, if everyone is me, if every single person is me, then I am attacking them too, if that makes sense. If we literally are one, if Ahol Mataki Oisin is legitimate, if we have agreement with this, that we are one entire cosmic web or morphogenic field or a giant toroidal field put into one, then in that sense, when I am holding myself back or believing a lie or not living out my entire love, then I'm hurting the whole, not just myself, and it just ripple pulls as an effect outwardly. And that can be traumatic, right? To end up in the habitual looping pattern of ending up in a mistake and then doing it again, even though I just watched it, I had that thought, and then I still did a behavior from that thought, even though I know that thought's not true. And then like nipping it in the butt.
Can we just interject here? Because like you're literally saying that you know this is a story, right? Like,
and the story keeps the feelings on stage. As long as I'm telling the story in this frame or in this tone or in this flavor or framework of like depression,
this
anger.
is what you have to do. You know, the part that you're identifying with, you know, the part that you're blaming yourself for going there, you know, how you're sort of consciously aware as a witness, you're saying, look at what I'm doing.
Oh, but where's the fruit of the spirit of being able to have self-control, you know?
No, well, let me just say this. That, like, shift that point of awareness. Instead of just being the watcher, be the guardian of your thoughts. Nobody else can shut off the chatter. Monkey mind. Sun conjunct Mercury in Pisces. It's like you hear everybody's voices. It's chaos. So you make yourself the guardian and you identify with that part, you know, and then you get the mind under control, because the mind, once you get your coherence with the heart, and I know you're doing this. This is like coming up way before I had it in my notes, but my sister is also doing heart math, the heart and mind coherence. She's a trainer and everything, but in reality transurfing as well, and also all the mystical approaches have this heart and mind coherence, like a they call it the eye of the heart as well, where, you know, you're thinking in your heart, or there's this connection there that sort of opens you up to possibilities, you know, and frees up. Like, once you get out of these patterns, you can take the energy that was used up in all of these patterns and put it into creating. And if you're in alignment with God, it'll be clear what you're supposed to do. Theoretically. Anyway, we sort of jumped around there, and I want to at least get through to the, like, this place where I ask you if you can sing that song that you sang to me when we did the session last time I saw you. And it was like the Because I Love You So Much song.
You want me to sing that now?
Would you mind?
Porque te quiero tanto. Quiero tanto. Porque te quiero tanto. Con todo mi corazón. Hey, Anna, hey, Neo, hey. Because I love you so much. Because I love you so much. because I love you so much with all of my heart. Hey Ana, hey me, oh, hey, porque te quiero tanto, porque te quiero tanto, porque te quiero tanto con todo mi corazón. Hey Ana, hey me, oh, hey. I hope that you can feel that when I'm singing this, that it is God singing to you, that God just loves you so much. And He's never forgotten you, and you're just always together. And this song just kind of brings you back to that place you always are, that just sometimes you fall asleep and you forget that you are there and being held and carried and kissed and all the affections. Yes, on the lap of the Father, you could say, you're right there. It's just sometimes we run away and say, no, 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 Daddy, go away. No. I want to do what I want to do. Forget you. But we always come back, and there's always open arms.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Like, my pleasure. Quiero tanto, porque te quiero tanto. Porque te quiero tanto con todo mi corazón. Hey, Ana, hey, oh. Metanoia. Metanoia. Metanoia.
I don't know if I can go on. I don't know if I can do the rest of this.
Aw, there's no expectation. I just wanted to reconnect, you know? I mean, we did title the video Interview with Trina, so maybe there should be 3 questions. We can always continue another time.
I didn't even get past the intro and I cried. I mean, oh my God. But it's like everybody has to know how beautiful of a thing it
is. We're family, Brian. We're family.
Mm-hmm.
Like one whole family. Like the whole world just forgets this, but you kind of get this, right? It's not about blood. Like Michael's my family. You're my family. Shelby's my family. Nate is my family, right? Everyone you know, we are all family. They know their names. You know? And think about it like this, like, you know, like when you've been fighting with someone or whatever, and then you come back together, like, it's like no time has passed. It's just like, oh, I love you. It's like all is forgiven. You know?
For a while there, it felt like there was so much like tension and resistance between us. And I mean, like over the airways, and like, especially when there was less communication between us. And I know I kind of got a little frenetic at one point, and like there was this eclipse going on, and it was like, I don't know, maybe it was like the microdosing or what, but you know, I kind of, you really helped me get through like a tough time, and you were so like graceful and forgiving and loving. You've always been so loving.
I can only
even when you were like a horrible brat.
I was just gonna say that, like, there are times where I just don't know how to be nurturing, especially when someone's acting up kind of thing. Oh my God, I just don't know how to move. And you know what I do is I mirror, like, all you escalated, I escalated too. You know, so I have stuff to work on too, you know, it's just
I mean, you have that awareness.
But without the horrible, traumatic relationship boo-boos, I wouldn't have learned what I needed to work on and to have that awareness. You know what I mean? It took falling into the trap to kind of be like, oh my God, I don't want this bear trap on my leg anymore. It's hurting me. Yeah.
A bear trap.
I was using that as like an example. Like, it's got you by the ankle and like you can't have any pleasure, any fun. You can't go anywhere. You got into a trap. It's like a metaphor, I guess. A bad metaphor, apparently.
I mean, I don't know what you're applying it to. Maybe, like getting trapped in your patterns or just in your feelings or,
Oh my God. Okay, so like being put into a situation where a bad character of yourself, like me, myself, a bad version of me comes on stage and expresses through me. And I'll use a cheesy example, like maybe I'm cursing. Okay, maybe I'm saying a bad word. Or maybe like,
okay, hold on. Just stop for a second. Is this some kind of abstract hypothetical that you're just entertaining in your mind because you've got nothing better to do or talk about?
I wouldn't say that. I think that I can testify and add to my testimony that I have had some totally inappropriate behavior and thought patterns that have caused me to behave in ways that if I could say, Trina, I choose to behave this way, that I would not have chosen to respond emotionally. Okay. Yeah, you get it? Yeah. I'm not saying like I'm the worst person or I'm the best person. I am just saying I still have things to work on. And if I had not end up in those so-called bear traps or situations that made me see my shortcomings, I could not be a witness or mindful or meditative, or aware, as you would say. I would be asleep. I would be dreaming. I would have no idea that's happening.
Yeah, well, trauma shuts down your awareness of things and puts you into like a protective state.
Yeah, for a long period of time, I blacked out. I had no memories. I had no feeling. I didn't have an awareness of what this feeling was. And anytime I had an uncomfortable feeling, I did a behavior or an action to immediately put me into pleasure or out of a way or distraction from that experience that was reminding me of my previous abuse or trauma or injury that I felt was an injury because I was like young or childlike in that time because I was new.
Did you read Whole Again? The book that you suggested that I read?
Yes, I have read the entire book. It was not an easy read because it makes you look at yourself where you are doing those toxic behaviors after being in toxic relationships. How we adopt and adapt and recreate those tendencies. But it's important, like what you were saying, for me, part of the healing has been, the most important thing has been to take responsibility. For me to see where it was my fault and where I can improve myself. I cannot make someone else apologize. I cannot make someone be romantic with me or to give me the affection, the attention that, I long for and I get excited for, but I can control my response or my behaviors to seek those things out or, the protocol. Yeah.
I gotcha. I do have this on my list so that like it sort of seems like it's jumping around, but we jumped ahead to a lot of things. And I want to kind of just clear this so I can move down. Hey, I'm the MC here or whatever. I'm doing the interview. So but anyway, I love that. It's just been what it has been and what we've talked about and everything. It's just really
Thank you. Yes, it's been nice. Thank you for encouraging me to say.
Yeah, okay. And also you mentioned something about like something enterprising, like doing it like kind of collectively with doing it for the public. Like the idea
I'm sorry,
but let me.
What if we made a website where like any person could go on there and like different people have different voices, and then on this website we'd be like, I want that guy to read this book to you. I want this guy to read the neuroscience book to me. I want this girl to read to me about how to heal from my mom's abuse. And then maybe you have like 10 different people reading that same book. But I think what would make it unique is that it's in real time. Like I call you at 3:00. And every week at 3:00, I read to you.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's sort of like a group thing.
Yeah, it's not recorded. It's like personal and interactive. Or you can privately book one person through
Okay.
the website to
Listen,
read the book. Yeah.
can you make notes about it and share it with me? Because I don't want to talk about it right now. But
Right
I
on.
do want
I mean,
to talk about the idea of doing something together that is like more like what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
Which
like a book club, dude.
like an online, like having a conversation, bringing other people into it, or like tackling some of the subjects that I'm trying to get to, you know, as being like a whole episode of something that we try to come together on, because as I've tried to lay out here, some you know, energetic connection that we have that we can use to generate something that is of benefit to the world. And I mean, you know, I know that sounds like, oh, what an ego or whatever.
No, do you not remember the scripture? When two or more are gathered.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you something else now, okay? I went back to try to find some things like that. Well, you called it a Mother's Day thing, but I think it was really in July or August of 2019. But you like dedicated it to your mom, and then you sort of made like this statement. And it was at Anastasia Park, and I printed it out for you on the printer. Do you remember that day?
Oh yeah. It's my Mother's Day video on YouTube.
Is it still there?
Oh, of course.
Because I went back and tried to find it in your archive, and I did not see. I presume that you had issues with your space. Did you switch over to a different account at some point, or
No? You know, it seems like
you
a lot
check
of my
your archive?
it seems like a lot of my YouTube videos have gone missing. Like certain videos, like I had this video where I went live and I put my mohawk up and like I shaved my head or something like that. Like I went to a St. Augustine salon and got a haircut. And like I had another video of me in a fish tank wearing a particular surf shop t-shirt. Like certain videos have just disappeared somehow. But you know, the video you're talking about, I remember recording it once. I think I might have just recorded it again another time with someone else. Like, but it's still on there. You just have to type in @Trina Mason Mother's Day. And like the video should come up. Yeah.
All right. You know what? I can research it some other time. I was.
But you make me
like,
wonder what happened to the original content, because I remember I filmed it many times.
My question was, like, if you had deleted it, what kind of metaphor was that?
Right.
But I couldn't believe that you would, but maybe I thought you were running out of space or something. I don't know. Like they were going to charge you for using up, like, because you must have a massive file here, but.
For sure.
Like,
that's not going to be a fun day.
I kind of wanted to explore like the arc of our friendship, and I sort of want to frame it like this, like that each of us are all like seeking balance, like within and without. I mean, we want to be balanced on the inside. We want balance in our lives on the outside, but we also, you know, it needs to be balanced inner and outer. And, you know, connecting with all the planes that we're able to. And I think that's why we come together in relationships, is to, when there is dysfunction, the experiences that we have can lead us to, what we need to understand if we're looking for it. You know what I mean? And maybe it's not really making a lot of sense.
Well, it does. I mean, the only part where it doesn't, we could joke that it doesn't make sense is like, it sounds like you're taking a lot of responsibility for doing works when really, like, we're not the doers, we're not in control. Like, it's a matter of letting the creator let things unfold. And it's just a matter if we are going to listen to, the peace or the love, or if we're going to behave on our own selfish impulse and to not listen to that call to do a greater good.
Okay. It seems like you sort of jumped into a certain set framework of like a belief system.
Possibly, yes.
I'm trying to come from a more universal place. So if you can translate it for me more universally, that will help. But otherwise, I will do my best to understand what you're trying to say.
The only way that I could think of to rephrase what I said would be like, this example is like, in order for you to get love, you do not have to do works. You don't have to do actions. You don't have to do anything, because you are already loved and lovable. And that you don't have to do anything. And that you don't get into the kingdom of heaven by works.
Right. I suppose I am, I guess it's sort of like the idea maybe of the workaholic, which I don't believe I've ever been.
Have you read about that yet?
But
in the Hooligan book, it talks about workaholic.
I did a little bit. I might have, had a little martyr syndrome going, or just not really been in balance with what it takes to maintain myself and support Michael the way he needs it. But gladly, happily, things are shifting for me, and we're going to be getting more help and more. He's going to be transitioning to better circumstances, so we're all excited for that.
Yeah.
But it's been an evolution. I kind of lost my place. Something that is just standing out here as this kind of thing that I want to ask that's out of nowhere. But you remember the little hole in the tub?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember that day that was the first day that you did body work on me?
Okay. I don't think I consciously put that together.
Did you forget that?
Was it before you broke the tub or after?
Oh no, you worked on me before.
The same day the tub broke?
The same day. See,
wow.
There was
symbolism.
I know. And I was just
you want to know what I feel like? Oh my God. It was me trying to do works and be the healer. Not me. Creator is the healer. You know what I mean? It's I was trying to jump in, and then the symbolism of the tub, getting clean, and the symbolism of the knee going through the entire bathtub. And I don't know, there seems like there's deeper stuff here if we actually contemplated, you know?
Okay, I'm so glad that you're digesting that, because like all these things had meaning for me back then too. And I mean, I'm looking back at it now and able to reflect. And now I'm hoping that you actually feel the meaning of it all and what was going on. That was not that long after LaDonna.
Wow.
Okay, let me just keep going on. It's just like the hole in the tub is a metaphor. That's sort of like the broken vessel, the chalice, the Holy Grail. That is the container for love or light or life. Okay? And it was like symbolic in both of our lives that we could not, like, we did not have a healed container for love. But I patched that sucker.
Are you saying because of, I was gonna say, like, are you saying that because at the time where we first met, neither of us were really willing to like bring love into the friendship because we were both kind of afraid of any loving friendship or any connection because we had been injured in that love place? Or
well, yes, and I guess we're
like not able to give because we were afraid, like not being able to open up and to accept a hug, or
our wounds and our issues kind of dovetailed with each other.
like your wounds triggered my wounds and my wounds triggered your wounds, like that?
It's sort of like the problems that I was having were somehow helpful to you to understand your issues. And the trouble that you were having was, like, I guess, ideally, that we would be learning from these experiences and how, like, we were drawn together and how the interaction, like, unfolded, that there are all these symbolic meaning in the things that are actually happening between people. You know, it's like your life is like a waking dream. What is the metaphor for this moment that you're having? Like right now, the metaphor would be that I'm having a lucid dream with, you know, one of my most beloved friends. What?
I said, are you comfortable coming back? I can see you if you're not reading from a script of questions anymore.
I mean, I've sort of been going off script, but it is still on about the tub metaphor and our own like healing. I did patch it up. I made that thing whole. You know,
and made it look like there was never an injury to the bathtub ever, and you did a great job, Ryan.
Okay, so do you remember when you first pulled all right, I want to ask you this first. Oh my God, I really wrote so much. Holy shit. Do you remember when you first pulled tarot cards for me?
No.
It was like, I think it was maybe the only time.
Okay.
But it was in front of the museum, like the second time we ever met.
Okay.
I want to tell you this story now. You walked up with the cards, you shuffled them a little bit, and then you pulled the card out, and it was the Hermit. I'm like, Yep, that is me. I am the hermit. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're good. And then I said, but you know, I didn't even cut that deck.
Well, it was God doing the
So-
handiwork.
But let me just finish.
Hey,
You know, I cut the deck, and then you pulled the rest of the cards that you pulled, every single one of them, the Magician, the Moon, the Two of Discs. There's, I think, one other one. It might be like Lost or something. I think it's Venus in Leo. Whatever. I have like maybe 5 cards. They're not all major arcana, but like my archetypes are there.
Okay.
One after another, you pulled them out. And it was like you were trying to give me a reading. But really, what it was is that it was God trying to show you who I was.
What a sense of humor.
It's what?
I said, what a sense of humor.
I mean, it was an essential way of doing it. And but like you channeled that, and I was so impressed from there. Like at one point we had like what I would have called a real hug in front of that building. I think that day. And
physical touch is totally your love language, by the way.
Yeah, but we rarely ever touched each other.
I'm just saying that, is it not true that that is your love language, dude?
I mean, I'm comfortable in my body. I think I have perhaps other love languages as well, but I can be affectionate if that's what you mean. I don't know if that is like everything that I need. Definitely not everything that I need. But
Right.
yeah, I can be a total love bug if I'm feeling this reciprocal energy. I'm a very affectionate person. I mean, I'm not afraid of that. That to me, that's the stuff that you want to remember. Like to say, yeah, I did that while as you're dying, remembering that.
Yeah.
I had that love that was just, beyond words or whatever. And this kind of like dynamic between us, there's like a dynamic polarity in like in our chart or in our energies and in our like you could say in our cards or whatever. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time trying to understand this energetic connection and how much I would say synchronicity there is between us. And so the mermaid metaphor that we were talking about.
Which one?
Just that, like, maybe I shouldn't really go into it like this, but the whole like being submerged in water, as a mermaid, and also as you being in a tub right now. While we're talking, I'm missing all of this space time here while I'm looking at these stupid words. I should just abandon all of it.
You can write a picture if you want to do for a future episode.
Oh, are you inviting me back?
Yes.
I am so there. I mean, I swear, I think we need a new YouTube channel so we're not bombing your Trina Mason flow.
Never.
Never? Oh,
Maybe Dr. Transcenso can have his own channel, and then Trina will make an appearance on his show. How about that? If you want to do it that way, there you go.
okay. I mean, we can still collaborate between channels. I have no problem with that, but I think it's a little more dynamic if it was like our own kind of thing where, you know, we could each have keep our own identities, maybe. But
Like both be anonymous.
And they could what?
You mean like both of us be anonymous?
No, not anonymous, but did I say
No, you said we would keep our identities. So I guess I was like running with what that might have been.
yeah. If there was if it did become like an episodic kind of thing, you know, then it would almost be like it's a show unto itself.
Like,
but
like where we talk about metaphors and stuff like that.
I mean, yes, and metaphysics.
Yeah.
And I mean, the list has a lot of things that I could sort of just bullet right down. But I think I should maybe skip around a little bit.
Brian,
because
Brian.
Yeah.
We have been going for an hour, and I'm going to have to cut this right now, and we will plan and have a much better idea how to do this again next time, okay?
Oh, okay. Man,
All right.
I only got to a fraction, but you know what? It was so beautiful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will be in touch with you. You get some
rest. I miss you so much.
I miss you too. I'm always here. We'll talk more, okay?
Okay.
I'll see you.